Hi guys, welcome to Project Life week 3. I'm starting a tiny bit differently this week. I do have my photos as normal, but this week I'm going to work with a whole bunch of printable digital elements, and I wanted to show you how I use those to put together a little mini kit, I guess, to do this week's Project Life. So I've got a bunch of digitals. These are from Brandy Kincaid. I got the new Felicity Jane digital kit, and also I've got some printables from One Little Bird. So these are some elements from One Little Bird that I used my silhouette to do a print and cut. So if you haven't seen my video on how I do that, I will link that up above for you. And these are some of the really beautiful cards. I haven't printed everything. I've just gone through and printed out a selection from all of the different kits, just ones that I think I like and that I might want to work with. I mean, obviously this is for 1 week, so I'm definitely not going to use them all, but I just wanted to print out a selection, so I had a few to work with. Now, this one in particular, some of these I created myself from the digital elements in the kits, and other ones like these from Brandy, I have just printed straight out exactly how they are. So, as you can see, I have got quite a few to work with. And even though they're from 3 different kits, I kind of think the colours all work really nicely together. So what I need to do is build a bit more of a kit to work with. So I'm going to start with some alphas. So I've got my little stash of alphas here, and all I'm going to do is just look for ones that I think might work with the colours and the cards that I've picked out. And I know I've got some. These L Studio Puffy alphas I've used before, obviously, but I think the blue matches some of the blues in here, so I'm definitely going to pull those. And I don't need a ton of alphas, but I think I'm going to use, hold on, I'll grab some out of my other drawer. I'm going to use some of these more basic ones. These are really old, Basic Grey and Kelly Perky, just alphabet stickers, just plain cardboard, but I like the white. Black and white. I think that will make life easy to work with. So that's it for alphas. And the next thing I need are just a little bit more embellishments. Now obviously I've got some printable embellishments, so I don't need a whole lot. But I'm kind of thinking maybe some little enamel pieces. And so all I'm doing is just literally, I've spread the cards out so I can get a vague idea of what colours are in it, and I'm just holding them above there to see whether it goes. And I kind of like these ones. I like the yellow and the grey. Not sure about the mint green and the blue, but I'm also not going to add a billion of them, so I love the size of these ones, so I think I'm going to go with those. And I probably don't need a whole lot else, but because there are a few neutrally colours in here, I think I'm going to grab my wood veneer. So, I mean, obviously this is just one of my things of wood veneer. I'm not going to use all of them, but probably some basic shapes like some of these arrows, you know, like that might go quite nicely in there. I like that more neutral shade with it. So that's my little mini kit, and now we can get on with doing the actual spread. So I've got my photos onto my page protector roughly in the order I think they're going to go in, and so now I'm just going to start going through my pile of cards, picking out ones that I like and think might work on the spread. So I'm going to try and keep things, I think, even though I've printed out all these beautifully coloured cards, I think I'm going to try and keep things a little bit more neutral. So I really liked, and it's totally accidental, the way that that little 3x4 photo fits onto that Brandy Kincaid card. So I'm definitely going to use that one. And it's a black and white Felicity Jane. It was actually a paper, but I cut that down to 4x6 at the top there. Then I'm just going through some of the other ones, picking out what I might use, and I really wanted to use yellow with that donut photo, but I think the floral from Brandy worked way nicer, so I'm going to use that one, and a bit of teal on the left hand side. I did shift those photos around just to balance it out a little bit more. And I do want to do some journaling this week, so I've used one of the blanker cards in the middle there. There was that really cute like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 card, but I didn't know that I had 5 stories. It was more just going to be like, yeah, just a brief overcap of the week. So I think the blank one probably is going to work better for this page. So now I have stuck all those little photos down. I'm just going to go through all of these digital elements that I've print and cut and just pick out some that I think might work. So this is generally how I work when I've got an embellishment pack like this. I just go through it and just start pulling things out. I'm not being particularly careful, and probably most of the time I'll end up putting half of these back anyway. It's just to go through them and see which ones might work with which photo. So you can see I've got those out and I'm already starting to delete some of them. There are some I definitely know that I'm going to keep, like this yellow one. So I'm adding some double-sided tape. I've run out of glue runner again, so I'm back to double-sided tape, which it's not as easy, but it is less wasteful and it does last a lot longer. So I'm thinking I might swap to that. It's just not as easy for me, and I'm all about ease for this sort of thing. On my title card, I had picked out these 3 labels, not because I wanted to use all 3 of them, because I thought all 3 of them might work, but actually when they were sitting there as a cluster like that, I kind of liked the look of it. So I'm just gonna stick those all down, just all 3 of them layered on top of each other. One of them will end up with my date stamping on it for the week. And it also gives me like a little shelf to put my alpha stickers. So I'm going to use these blue puffy ones for my week title. And of course, once again, I've picked an alpha that's got no numbers in it. So I am very lucky that we're still at the start of the year and I can spell out these words. So I've just spelled out week 3. Just overlapped it onto the labels just a little bit, and then I can do my date stamping, and I'm going to do that on the sort of corally pink label there. Just using a scrap piece of paper so that I can stamp my first date for the week. And added my little heart with my pen like I usually do before realizing I've got these enamel shapes, so I can actually use one of them to do that job, and luckily my heart was small enough for it to cover up. And since I've added one, I'm going to add a couple more just to, my usual rule of 3. Plus it brings a little bit more yellow up into that top corner. Now this photo here, I had pulled off the little die cuts. I didn't find anything that really worked for there, so instead I'm going to use some letter stickers. We had a super hot week, and all of a sudden the weather broke. It cooled right down and we had this real rainstorm, and it was just such a relief. All I could do was grab myself a cup of coffee, and yes, I know I'm not supposed to be having coffee, but this was a special occasion, and I went outside and stood in the rain and drank my coffee, and it was amazing. This photo here, there were these 2 little die cuts, and I think I'm going to use both of them just to sort of stack on top of each other, and those little ones are easy to glue down with a glue pen like that. I think that one's supposed to be like hole punched and use like a little tag, but instead I'm just covering up the hole that's in the design with a star, a yellow star again. And then I'm going to use these same letter stickers to spell out, I guess, a mini title. I just wanted to note down what the actual temperature was on that day. Like, we've been having that, it's not usual for us, and it's certainly by no means as hot as it gets in the world, but for here, being in the 30s for more than a few days in a row is torture. I didn't like the little arrow actually on that. I don't even know what it was supposed to be, so all I did was clip off the arrow piece and just use it like a fancy label before I spell out again another little mini title on this label. And man, that tiny little dot on the exclamation mark, I really struggled to get that off the sheet and stuck on. I ended up giving up and trying another one before I finally got it on. And then what I really wanted to do was add one of these arrows, and it just took me a while to work out which arrows sort of work to point at Lil. Otherwise it looked like it was pointing at the next photo along. And I'm just going to glue these wood veneer down with my multi-matte medium. I feel like that sort of is the best way to stick them down. Usually I'd use glue runner, but I have had them come off a few times. did my typing on my typewriter. Because it's a digital card, I could have done it on the computer, but I didn't know which card I was going to use and I didn't want to reprint it, so I have just run that through my typewriter. And again, I'm going to add a wood veneer to the bottom of that, and then to tie in the third, I'm going to add another one to the title card, which works quite nicely. Now I feel like at this point I've only got one little die cut piece to glue down, so I'm adding that to the top of the card. I don't like the little red heart, so I'm going to use one of these yellow enamel dots to tie that in again. And I feel like I'm all done, but the eagle-eyed amongst you may have seen I haven't stuck down that pink tag on the left, and I only realised that after I finished filming. So you can see here I have stuck it down and added a couple more staples. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!